friends, neighbors, and of course the YouTube comment section. What is up, my dudes? It's your boy. I'm back. We're talking about the console. I have a Saturday off, so it's studio maintenance day. I apologize for all of these videos coming out all at once, but these are all on my how-to or on my to-do list of things to get done. So today we're working on the console. So for those of you not familiar with this glorious, glorious lady in front of us, this is a Midas Heritage 2000 console, built in the year 2000. This is a 48-channel live sound console. This is what the Behringer Wing used to be. It's kind of crazy when you think about it like that, that this console has 48 channels, 4 of which are stereo. It has 12 auxes and 12 groups and 8 matrices. So this thing is the Behringer Wing, or a bigger Midas M32. It just weighs 500 pounds and is 7 feet wide. So for those of you not familiar with the journey that has been going on with this console, there is a 17-part playlist on this thing and how I took it apart. This was my COVID project. I was working on this when everybody was in quarantine, feverishly cleaning every one of these little pots. And to show how many there actually are, this is the matrix feed from the groups. In this one square unit right here, there are 96 knobs that I hand cleaned one by one. I had some time on my hands, as I'm sure we all did. Anyway, this console is what's called a modular console. And what that means is the channel strips can be removed. They are individual. So on the right half of the console here, this is what I'm calling my functional side. So I'm in the process of recapping the preamp pots. So there are 2 capacitors, I'm recapping the preamps. There are 2 capacitors per preamp. And they are just starting to get a little crusty because this console, because this is November of 2024, this is a 24-year-old console. And although it gets used, it doesn't get used every day. So there's some stuff that just needs a little TLC. So I've been sending each one of these channels out to my buddy Jim Sawyer to recap the preamps, and then also just put it in his world to make sure that if there are any individual issues on the channel strip level that needs addressed, they get addressed. So luckily, the first 8 that are done here are fine. They just have brand new preamp caps. So looking at this channel strip, let's give you a close-up as to what this looks like. Now, hold on, I'm going to shut the window here. It's too bright. So here's a channel that needs a little TLC. And I figured that this would be a cool opportunity to show you what this looks like outside of the console. So the back of the channel, this is how you plug it in. So on every single channel here, you have an insert, send, and return, the mic line input, and an XLR direct output. So this console doesn't have 1/4 inches. For those of you who are old enough to remember analog, this console does not have 1/4 inches. You can plug a line level source into this preamp, which is pretty cool. So looking at the channel, I know this is a little weird to look at sideways, but bear with me here. You do get the magical, mystical, never to be duplicated Midas preamp. And then with the preamp, you get 48 volts for phantom power, a pad, and a phase. The knob below there is our direct output button, and you can send that pre or post EQ. So if you want to send your channel EQ out, you can. This is a fully parametric EQ, and I can't even begin to tell you how huge of a deal that was in 2000. If you were dealing with an entry-level console, say the infamous Behringer MX3282, which I mixed a lot of shows on, or any of the Allen and Heath things, or the Mackie stuff, all that stuff around that time, if you had 1 band or 2 bands of parametric mids, that would be cool. But you generally had a fixed low end and a fixed high end, generally 80 to 100 hertz, and then 8K kind of thing. So this is a fully parametric EQ top to bottom. So you get your frequency right here. So this goes from what, 1K to 20K. Sorry, holding the camera with one hand. This is your frequency. This is your gain for the frequency. And then this is your Q. It's a concentric knob, which is pretty cool. So you have a fully parametric. Now, what these buttons here, you have an insert. You can flip your insert pre or post EQ. And then you can also engage or disengage your EQ. And again, here's something that never was on consoles, a high-pass filter. You damn kids, you get a high-pass filter on every channel. We would just have to turn the low end down like that. So yeah, this thing actually has a high-pass filter up to 400 hertz on every single channel. You do have 12 auxes, 6 are mono, the bottom 2 are stereo. So you can run 8 mono auxes and 2 stereo, or you can run 12 mono auxes. And then this is, so this is aux 10. This is your gain right here, your trim, and this is if you want to pan it left or right within the aux. On the bottom here are the group. You can assign this to your groups. We have 12 groups on this console. And that is a unique thing between the Midas Heritage 2000 and 3000. The 2000 is designed as a front-of-house console. The 3000 is designed as a monitor console, although the 2000 is very rare. The 3000 is the more ubiquitous of the two. The main difference is the amount of auxes. So the 3000 has 24 auxes per channel, so you can run 12 stereo mixes per channel. And this one so instead of the groups here, this is all filled with auxiliary knobs. I should say you can turn the auxes on and you can flip them pre or post fade. This is what sends us to our group outputs here. And this is our stereo, or this is our pan pot right here. And then the Midas consoles are unique. They have this imager that's designed for LCR. So if you have a center hang, this can put it in. It's called SIS mode, and it can equally pan between left, right, and center, which is pretty cool. And then you can either send the output of the channel to the stereo bus or the mono bus, and then there is mute. So that is the Midas Heritage 2000 channel strip. So today's video is about putting the channel strips in the console. Because again, those of you familiar with analog, probably I would say there's an even shorter list of you that have used modular consoles like this. So I have a little case that I made here, I should say LM made me, that holds 4 of the channel cards. This is, the pink foam is anti-stat foam, and each of these is how I've been sending console channels to Jim in Minnesota from my studio in Ohio. So check these out. These 2 caps right here are the preamp caps. These are the things that will cause you all of the issues. And basically it's just some cracks and pops and that kind of thing. But so far, everything else on the cards, on the channels themselves, have been functioning fine. But you can see how many electrolytic capacitors there are in these cards. You know, if you were to start to go into the world of replacing all this stuff, it would get really expensive really fast. Jim has hooked me up with a pretty serious deal. Sorry, my gimbal freaked out there. So Jim has hooked me up with a pretty good deal. It's basically $100 a channel to replace those 2 caps and run them through testing. But even at that end, I think if he told me, I can't remember the price he said, but if he did every cap on the channel, it would be like $300 or $400 because, I mean, it is super tedious. So it would be, you know, the cost of a new car to fully recap the console. So I'm under the impression of I'm going to do the preamps on every single channel, and then we'll do maintenance things as they are needed. So the bottom of the channel here has a multi-pin socket. This is how this interfaces with the console. That's these 2 tan sockets. And then on the console here, there's just a PCB that goes into that. So these ribbon cables that go in here, this is what actually interfaces with the fader modules. And then the cables that you see right here, this is the power supply to each channel. or each board. So I'm going to change camera angles, and I'll show you how these things go in. All right, so check that out. 4 more in here. So we have 12 channels in the console that have beautifully new recapped preamps. So, man, I don't have anything on the books right now to mix, but I'm kind of just really tempted with my Saturday off to throw something down on the console. My Saturday off from mixing, I will spend mixing. To just see what everything sounds like, because this thing really does sound amazing. For those of you who are in a hybrid world where you're mixing analog and digital, you know, when we talk about rack-mounted channel strips, this is where the channel strip nomenclature comes from. And you can see the Midas ones aren't super huge. When you start to get into like studio desks like SSLs and Neves, you know, like I'm thinking of any of the G consoles or the 88RS or those kind of things. The channel strips on those things are monsters. And Neve actually has a puller. I think SSL does too, but the Midas ones you can just you can do by hand. So if you notice on the last one, I had a little bit of a struggle getting it in because the way that it works is the back of the card is also supported. So the channel strip is screwed down in 3 places. There's this one, this screw right here. There's one at the back, which are these perforated holes at the top, and then there's also one in the bottom. So I need to pull the console out and screw the backs of them in, and then also wire them the channel strips back into the patch bay. Which, speaking of, I mean, this is a digital mix that I just finished up. And this is just the patch points required to use analog equipment. So, you know, the way that the interfacing works here in the studio is I have 2 interfaces that I keep here all the time. This is the 24AI and 24AO that live in the studio. So I have 24 ins and 24 outs. And then that's the patching required to just access some basic outboard gear that we have in here. I don't even have crazy outboard gear in here. Oh, I do have a cool Jeff Porcaro action figure, though. Gina got me that for my birthday this year. That's pretty sweet, right? But anyway, there's a little update on the console. I may, if you guys are interested, throw a mix down on it just so you can see what it sounds like, because it does sound really good. I really do. When I do drum tracking here, I will track through a Midas M32C occasionally if I have to do it myself, and then I'll put it down through the console just to get my pre-production EQs on it, because they just sound that good. So anyway, thanks for stopping by as always. If you have any questions about this or anything else, just let me know. Oh, I should say, if you want me to mix anything for you, if you're a band shopping for an engineer, either live or studio, send me an email, Billy at Billy Dylan Cases, Billy at BillyLaGuardia.com at the bottom, and run your mix through the Midas Heritage 2000. Anyway, thanks for stopping by as always. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.